Where are you going?
Since when do I need your permission to move around?
I wasn't saying that you do. Though I'm not sure why you're biting my head off about it either.
Oh, that's so typical of you. How can you be so relaxed about all this? At this very moment, the enemy is doing who knows what behind the scenes, and yet we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs in Ganeth Harrows.
I know that, but our hands are tied right now. What do you want me to do? And what's gotten into you anyway? Is there something you want to say to me, Shion?
Look, you're right. Forget I said anything.
If I said something to hurt you, I'm sorry. But I honestly don't know what I said to upset you so much. I really wish you would tell me.
You don't need to apologize. You didn't say anything. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. Not really.
Then why?
Please just drop it. I don't want to talk about it.
All right. If that's what you want, I won't push any further.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Just don't be too hard on yourself, okay? I wonder if something happened. Huh?
Well... Yeah.
No way.
Huh? Got it. Boomy! Boomy!
Heck? Are you stuck on that too?
No, really. I kind of see where they're coming from.
Are you okay with anything as long as it's round and flies?
Let's see what's going on around here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey!
Seriously?
Hmm? Well...
Well... Hmm?
Huh? Huh?
That's just...
I guess...
Yeah. Law.
Yeah! Huh?
Oh?
Oh, wow! All right! I wasn't expecting a thank you for that.
Maybe socializing with people is helping to jog his memory bit by bit. You did good, Law.
Thanks. Guardian armor is all back in their defense!
Glad you have your uses.
I'll show you how useful I can be!
This one's mine.
In here.
Watching you!
One at a time. I'm out of ammo. I'm on fire. Please focus.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Easy peasy. Ha hoodle. You can tell it's tough just looking at it.
Yeah, it'd probably mess us up good. We're in for a long slog with this
Not
one.
today!
Illuminate the arc! Come forth! It's a duel of the arcs! Chain between heaven and
Their
earth.
arcs are interrupted.
You've got fire!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
The
enemy wields arcs too.
We'll soon see about that! Chain with blah blah blah! Divine Savior! Blah blah blah!
The earth throbs with pain.
In a bind,
Blah blah!
it's pinned down!
Divine Savior!
Ignite!
Sleep now! Divine Savior! Another finish! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Close one! Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous! Thanks so much!
Tiger Blade!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Holy Land! Lightning condemned! Thunder Blade! Illuminate magic is out! Holy Land!
Down! You're on!
This one's mine! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Feel not in your dreams! You got company! Holy Land! Flower!
Now or never.
Hit! More where that came from!
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword, and with my thorns.
Shion.
Feel!
Can't get out of this!
Got it! Now's our chance! Holy Land! Don't mind if I do! Feel! A chain between heaven magic is in! Divine Savior! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Sleep now! This one's mine! A chain between magic is in! Feel!
This one's mine!
Blah blah blah! Here's a Divine Savior! First aid!
I can carve through armor!
In here! Let the marksman handle this! A chain between heaven magic is in! Divine Savior!
Prepare to be sealed! Take this!
Art expert coming through! Not on my watch!
Let's keep up the pressure!
Holy Land!
Denied!
Blah blah blah! Sleep now! It's weakened!
This ends now!
A chain between blah 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 magic! Divine Savior!
Ready and rare!
Look sharp! Hurricane strike!
Feel!
One more! Hurricane strike!
I'm sorry.
No! Don't leave me all alone here! Hurricane strike! This one's mine!
That's gonna smart.
Hurricane strike!
Blah 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 magic! Divine!
Prepare to be
Not
sealed!
today!
I'm gone!
Feel! You get the gist. Divine Savior!
My head's spinning!
Illuminate the dark! Enemies immobilized. In here! Art expert coming through! Blah 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 magic!
We've got him on the run.
Come forth,
Now,
Holy
while it's
Glimmer!
reeling!
Take it down! Sleep now! Don't mind if I do! Blah 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 magic! Holy Land! You get the
Can't get out of this!
Holy Land! blah, blah, blah. Holy land! Now, here goes!
Nice work!
You get this. Holy land! If it's in the sky, it's mine. This one I never miss. Holy land! They're all coming after me.
I'm coming, Rinwell.
I'm not scared. I'm totally fine. Illuminate the...
Eat dirt! Check!
Ow! Mom. That's gonna smart. Sleep now. Divine Savior!
Let's put you out of your misery.
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy land! Illuminate the dark!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
These bad guys really don't mess around.
I won't forgive you! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Seal! One more! Annihilate! Divine Savior! That statue-wielding card? Now I've seen everything! Don't mind if I do!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for you, truly! Holy land!
Take this!
Healing circle! Holy land!
And just like that, I'm back in it. Start by holding the front line. No sooner said than done.
Pierce evil! Holy land! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy land!
Make it rain!
Alvin! Astral energy!
Say no more!
I got it.
Got what?
I can chop up vegetable scraps and use them in the seasonings.
Should've known that's what it was gonna be about.
You guys want to rest here? You can never be too prepared. But did we have to
There's certainly an abundance of water in this realm, isn't there?
Yeah, we won't have to worry about going hungry around here.
Is she saying she can get full off of just water?
Seriously, I'll fix you food while we're here. You don't have to worry.
Huh? Why are you two so concerned all of a sudden?
Looks perfect and take...
Rinwell, mind if we chat a little? What's wrong? You're looking pretty down. Something on your mind?
Yeah, you could say that. It's just, well, there's something that's been eating away at me for a long, long time. Do you mind if I share it with you?
Of course not. I'm glad to listen.
See, my mom and dad used to tell me I shouldn't go around casting magic. But there was one time I did, behind their backs. And when I did, Almadria showed up.
Huh?
I hated Almadria for destroying everything I loved. But what I hated most was myself. For breaking my promise to my parents. Even though I swore I'd get revenge, there was always this nagging part of me that wondered if I even had any right to do so.
Rinwell, it was Almadria who killed your family. Don't torment yourself over one mistake.
How can you say that when my mother and father died because of me?
This may not comfort you much, but I'll say it anyway. I have a feeling your parents always knew something like that might happen.
What do you mean?
There was always a chance that someday, Someone was going to find you and your family. But even knowing the risks, they still taught you magic. And there are two reasons I can think of for that. First, your talent. Second, they were hedging their bets.
Huh? On what?
On you, Rinwell. On how you turn out when you grew up. Sure, learning magic may invite danger, but it would have been even more dangerous to live in hiding without being able to defend yourself. They knew what they were getting themselves into when they taught you magic. And I think they did it because of how much they loved you.
Because my mother and father loved me.
Sorry, I know I shouldn't be putting words into your parents' mouths.
No, it's okay. I used to think I would have been better off if I never knew how to use magic. And if I'm really honest with myself, sometimes I still think that. But after traveling around with all of you guys, I've learned that there are things I can do with magic. That there's a point to it after all. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm gonna try and accept it as part of who I am. I want to use it to protect my friends. To protect the future of Dahna. Do you think that's selfish of me?
Not at all. I wouldn't want it any other way with you, Rinwell.
We should really get some rest. You make sure to rest too, Hoodle. Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it.
Make sure to get some good rest.
I want to go back to bed.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
No way! All right. Having to inform a mother her son died isn't an easy thing to do.
But if not us, then who? That's why we have to find her.
total senses something.
Sorry.
Yes.
Ugh. All right.
How can she think of putting her son to rest as work?
Because that's the way people were made to think about every aspect of their lives.
I know she doesn't mean anything bad by it. I know that, but
It looks like she went out of town to take care of her son's body.
That's a little concerning. Those Zoogles roaming around out there. We should follow after her.
maybe something's going on in the forest.
Oh?
What?
Yes! Just great. What?
What?
Yes! Yes!
Nice.
Sorry.
Yes.
Just great.
White, soft, and fluffy items. Is that description supposed to be figurative or literal?
Let's check anything in the area that looks edible. Yes!
What?
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Yes.
What? I'm afraid not.
I'm sorry.
Rinwell,
Huh?
Phew. Good.
Right.
That little speech you gave back there was pretty impressive, Alphen.
If you call letting your emotions get the better of you impressive, sure.
It made them stop fighting with each other, right? However you managed it, you knocked some sense into Rinwell and Dohalim, and that mother.
Yeah. I can see my decision to travel with you was well made.
Something's eating at you again, huh?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean... Actually, I guess I do have one or two things on my mind. My people, we lived in hiding, so we never really experienced the full extent of Renan oppression. Not directly, anyway. After Almadria killed my mother and father, though, I guess that's when I started hating them so much. The Renans, I mean. But then I think of all those people who were born into slavery. The ones who never even got angry in the first place because it was all they ever knew.
I hear you. Every city we've been to, it's the resistance that gets labeled the troublemakers for having the guts to do the right thing.
When it comes down to it, sometimes I wonder which of us really has the better way.
You can't let your anger eat away at you, Rinwell. But then again, losing your parents that way... Hell, who could really blame you for it if you did? I guess what I'm trying to say is... sorry. Hell, it's hard putting this stuff into words.
No, I get it. You're saying that grief and anger are different than hatred. I never thought of it like that. But hearing you say it, it makes sense. Thanks, La.
You're welcome?
Always good to be back in familiar territory.
think we've helped these people just about as much as we can. They're going to need more long-term aid than we can provide on our own.
You're right. We need to ask the other realms to send help, and fast. Another reason to hurry and find a way out of Ganath Harros.
Agreed. We'll start looking for a way out tomorrow. For now, we should spend the day resting up while we can.
What?
What's that noise?
Alfred, this is bad! Look at the sky!
Huh?
What's happening to Rena and Lenegis?
It looks like Lenegis is transforming? But into what? What's going on?
How the hell are we supposed to fight the Renans if they're packing that kind of arsenal?
It seems they've broken their silence at last. My concern is that object they've dropped into the water. It's as if they're driving a literal wedge into Dahna.
Not just into Dahna, but our own resistance, too. And what's with that beam of light coming down from above? Got any idea what that could be?
Astral energy.
Are you serious? All of that is astral energy? But that...
It's a lot for sure. Not even all the astral energy harvested by every lord combined compares to that column.
They're trying to squeeze every last bit of energy out of the planet.
But why? I thought they only needed to harvest astral energy as part of the crown contest.
Who cares? If we don't stop it now, the whole of Dahna is going to be hollowed into oblivion!
Oblivion.
Do you think that red woman is behind this?
It certainly wouldn't surprise me. Just as the Sovereign, the Maiden, and all 5 Master Cores are gathered in one location, she appears out of nowhere bearing a 6th core. She then forces the 2 of you to help her assemble the Renis Alma. Just what kind of person is this woman?
You mean you don't know her?
Pardon?
She was there at your palace, wasn't she? I figured you knew who she was.
Are you saying I should be familiar with this woman?
Well, sure. I remember seeing her with you back at Adelina Palace several times. Everyone in the guard always wondered who she was.
Now that you mention it, I remember seeing her with Balsif, too. You saw her, right, Shion? Shion?
Oh, sorry, I drifted off. As far as I remember, the first time I saw her was when we ran into her in Pelegion.
Seriously? How could you two not notice her before? She sticks out like a sore thumb.
I guess I always figured she kept an eye on the lords for the Renin top brass.
You're sure you don't remember ever seeing her before?
I'm certain of it. My memory has never failed me.
But if it's not that, then...
We'll get to the bottom of this later. Right now, that wedge is a bigger concern.
Well, what are we gonna do then? We're not gonna be able to leave Ganath Haros until we come up with a plan, right?
Cyslodia lies beyond the northern mountain range.
Yeah, but we haven't found a single route through those mountains while we've been here. And we haven't gotten clues from any of the freed locals either.
Surely there must be a way through. This realm can't have been completely isolated from the rest of the outside world for 300 years. Volron may have simply sealed and hidden it.
Okay, then let's try asking the townspeople again if they know anything. Who knows? We might have missed something the first time around.
Sounds good to me. Better that than trying to build a boat from scratch. Let's start searching.
I bet the whole of Dahna's losing its mind right about now.
And just when we'd finished liberating all the realms. So much for things getting somewhere close to normal.
It's too calculated. As if whoever's behind all this was watching us.
The people of Pelegion seem pretty unfazed given the circumstances.
They've yet to get the full range of their emotions back. Maybe it's for the best. Can you imagine the panic otherwise?
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to leave, that's for sure.
Whatever Lenegis is planning, it's a fair bet this wedge they've sent down is just the beginning.
Even now, they're stealing away Dahna's astral energy as we speak. Come on, we don't have much time.
Hey, when that wedge dropped down on Dahna, did anyone else see any weird lights shoot out with it?
Indeed. As I recall, it was 4 lights, each one a different color and going in a separate direction.
That's what I saw too. What were they?
Hold on. A lot just happened here, so let's take a minute. For now, let's focus on one thing at a time.
Where are these Foreland Mountains exactly?
Those are the mountains you encounter if you walk deep enough into the Lavtu marshlands.
I don't remember there being any sort of path like that around there.
It's possible we overlooked something before. It wouldn't hurt to look again.
Armored soldiers!
Some of Volron's former guards.
Let's take them out quick before things get messy.
Oh, glory unto Volron!
Lay down your arms, and no one has to get hurt.
Silence! Traitors like you shall never walk free!
I knew you were stubborn, but you don't have to be so damn dramatic.
Only if you got company! Steering reload!
Take down!
Illuminate the dark! Come forward!
Astral Blitz?
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Sleep now!
To be let free!
Shattering of pieces! Attack!
Blah blah blah! Sleep now!
Alpha!
machine!
Say no more!
Well done!
I thought you more defensively minded.
Defense via threat elimination.
So the best defense is a good offense.
Sleep now! Divine! Not in your dreams!
Megasonic strike!
Holy Land!
Network! See what I can do!
Now I can let loose!
Circle! Holy
Thanks,
Land!
Chief.
What's with the hole here? Is that supposed to be their hideout?
It doesn't look like it's freshly dug, whatever it is. Maybe it's the entrance to a path to Cyslodia. Everything all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. Nicely done.
Tell me, Alphen, wherever did you learn how to wield a sword?
I was wondering the same thing too, actually. I'm guessing you knew how to fight before you met the Crimson Crows, right?
I used to be a soldier who served a Dahna master. I never saw the guy's face, but I still fought for him because he was my employer. Looking back, it wasn't all that different from being a slave.
A Dahnan master? That must have been before the Renans brought you to Lenegis 300 years ago.
You must fight using real Dahnan techniques then.
Really? We used to have our own sword arts?
There's a lot of our own history we've lost since the Renans first invaded. It's not all magic and art. I'm sure it includes things like sword styles too. It's incredible and also a little surreal to see those arts still survive after all this time.
Not only that, but I first learned these moves while serving one ruler, only to end up turning my sword on the ruling class altogether. Pretty ironic when you think about it.
I apologize if I dredged up unfortunate memories for you.
Nah, we're good. It's in the past now. All we ever did in those days was stir up trouble.
You're using those skills for a good cause now. It's not all bad.
I suppose this is what people mean when they say that every cloud has its silver lining.
Exactly. He's using those sword skills to make the world better. Could be a lot worse.
True enough. I will stop worrying about mentioning it then. Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
No wonder we couldn't manage to find them. They've been holed up here all this time, hiding.
The remnants of Volron's forces. You think they were planning an ambush on Pelegion?
Possibly. Then again, knowing how blind their devotion is, maybe they were just waiting.
Waiting? For Volron, you mean?
Even though we already defeated him? But yes, I suppose you're right. For these guys, that would just be a technicality. They act more like worshippers than subjects. They're probably still in denial that he was overthrown in the first place.
Either that, or they were biding their time until the next crown contest. Either way, their allegiance is to their lord.
Who they're convinced and expectant will return. So in the meantime, they wait patiently in preparation for the day that he finally does. That's way more than just loyalty. It's no less than total subjugation.
This will be a delicious piece of cake! Inferno! We have a flame of fury! Burning! Illuminate the dark! Complete blazer!
In a bind?
Holy Land! Illuminate the dark!
In an instant!
Impact Claw! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy Glide!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet and...
This is the power of the blazing sword!
You've noticed it, haven't you?
Notice what?
I'm referring to Shion.
I never thought you, of all people, would come to me about her.
Yes, well, what concerns me has more to do with what machinations may be currently unfolding in secret on Lenegis as we make our way along this tunnel.
And you're saying it's related to Shion in some way?
Perhaps. She believed there was a good possibility that the Renis Alma may free her from her thorns. One would think after losing the Renis Alma, she would be more dismayed, and yet she isn't. Why? There's also the matter of the power that she inherited from...
You heard what she said. She didn't know about the Maiden's power.
Mere ignorance does not preclude her deep connection to the events unfolding around us. You recall when her thorns went rampant in Castle Delpharis. I've never seen dark astral energy manifest in such a way.
I thought you said all Renans had dark astral energy inside of them.
Correct. However, what Shion exhibited was far beyond what any ordinary citizen could ever possibly possess. And let me be clear. I do not intend to cast doubt on Shion or her motives. Nevertheless, I cannot shake the feeling that there's more to all of this than what we currently know. Do you disagree?
Glacial spear. Pierce evil. Seal. Freeze laser. Divide Dahna. Illuminate the dark. Transform holy light. I never miss. Illuminate the
Flying freeze! Why can't they just sit still?
Shia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Not in your dreams.
What would we ever do without you, Kisara?
You've got a whole team to rely on.
Yeah, plus maybe apart from Lennon.
In an instant! Impact block!
Wow, look what I just found.
It's obvious that people used to go through here in order to get to the other realms.
You think Voron really did seal it off to keep it hidden then?
Seems like it. Those soldiers we encountered might have known about it, and chosen to hide out here.
But with the entrance...
Right, here goes!
Illuminate the dark.
Like moths to the flame.
Pierce evil. Divide laser.
Ignite!
I never
Be careful,
miss.
everyone.
Illuminate the
This
dark.
one isn't normal.
Holy lamp.
I think we can get through this.
Don't let up until it's over.
Sounds like a job for
Who
you
said anything about letting off?
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Am I on a rope?
No choice.
Illuminate the dark. Here I come. Holy quiver.
Sleep now.
Hurricane strike. Divide arc shield. Illuminate
Your
the
wings
dark.
won't save you from me.
Holy land.
You picked the wrong fight.
Illuminate the dark.
Anything in
You got fired.
I've got this.
Finish
Let
it.
a marksman out. Astral energy.
Say no more. Got it.
Well done. Radiant pierce.
Prepare to be seized.
Hurricane strike. In here.
I'll smash you!
I'm all
The enemy wields arms too.
We'll soon see about that.
Where are you going? You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
A victory for the ages.
What is this?
I see supplies and other signs that people were living here. Even Zoogle...
I'll do my best.
Right here! I got you!
Feel. Going in.
Soaring light spear. It's time.
Here goes.
No further.
They may look cute and stuff, but they're vicious.
Burn.
Do it. This ends now.
Consider your yourself finished!
Came between blah blah blah. Divine Savior!
I think the enemy's getting desperate.
Got them where we want them.
Don't tip your hand, though.
As impressive as always.
Together, that wasn't even a problem.
This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
Hi, Hoodle! Glacial Spear! Ready to go! Pierce evil! Sweep down! Freeze Lancer! Art expert coming through! Divine Savior! Illuminate the dark! If it's in the sky, it's mine! Illuminate the dark! Here's a healing here!
Double demon
Great
fang!
day! Divine Savior! They're surrounding us!
Here I come!
Prepare to be
Where are
seized,
you
though.
going?
Finish it! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
They're all coming after me!
I'm coming, Renwell.
I'm not scared! I'm totally fine!
Double demon fang!
Inferno!
That's what I like to hear.
Forgive you! Come forward! Sleep now! Going in! One more!
Here I come! Now or never! You picked the wrong fight!
I can shatter any steel!
Holy Land! Don't mind if I do!
I'm not feeling so hot.
Take it easy! You'll hurt yourself!
Not sorry. Didn't mean to make you worry.
In here!
Can't get out of this!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Right.
Inferno crossing!
A comfortable win.
How much do they have to steal from us to be satisfied?
What's that thing's purpose, anyway? Some kind of siphon that sends the astral energy the Lords harvested to Lenegus?
Not as far as I'm aware. That said, it has become evident since the forming of the Renaissance, as well as other recent events, that my insight may be thin. I would, as I believe the saying goes, take what I say with a grain of salt.
No, Halim.
At the very least, I believe we can assume that whoever is pulling the strings behind the scenes has had this in the works for quite some time.
Why's that?
The people on Lenegus may have plenty of resources at their disposal, but not even they could prepare something like that in a mere month. Something of that magnitude takes considerable time, as well as a predetermined goal in mind.
Then what was the crown contest for?
At this stage, I think it was but one step in the greater scheme we see unfolding before us. What that scheme is exactly, I haven't a clue. For now, I believe we should keep moving. The path continues. It's quite possible it will take us all the way to Cyslodia.
Agreed. Let's keep moving.
So Shion's thorns are dark astral energy.
Rinwell, are you worried about Shion?
Of course I am. But I don't know how to talk to her about it.
You and me both.
Come to think of it, what happened to those 4 lights that fell from Lenegus along with the wedge?
All 4 of them scattered in different directions. It's anyone's guess where on Dahna they might have landed.
I'm not entirely sure, but it seemed like those lights may have all been different elements of astral energy.
So even though they're using the wedge to siphon off energy from Dahna, they're shooting it back down to Dahna as well? Why?
I don't know. It all happened so suddenly.
Hopefully it's not a sign of some new threat we'll have to deal with.
But if that red woman has anything to do with the wedge, then what could that light...
It's weird, isn't it?
Oh?
The Red Woman. Shion and Dohalim said they'd never seen her before Pelagian.
Are you saying they're lying to us?
No, it's not that I think they're lying, just... there has to be some reason for it, right?
Well, one thing the two of them have in common is that they're both Renans.
Okay, you two. Put a pin in it for now. I know that we're in the dark about a lot, but for now, let's focus on getting through these mountains.
Yeah, of course.
Seriously?
Illuminate
Is
the
this a
dark!
joke?
Come forth, holy glimmer! In here! Here!
Going in!
There!
Divine
Divine
Forward
Savior!
up!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy land! Burning
Down! Your arm!
Illuminate the dark! Come
We've
forth,
turned the
holy
tables on
glimmer!
it.
There are
Leave the
still more
ensnaring
left!
to me.
Right. No time to hold back.
Pummel it to me!
Freeze laser! Do it! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy land! Never miss!
Ready and square!
Make it ready!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Seems about right to me.
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! In here! Freeze laser!
Time! Rising one!
Divine
This one's mine!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy... Not in your dreams! Healing circle!
Thanks!
Seal!
Why'd you hear me?
To stop you dying?
Take this!
Reload! Holy land!
Too fast! Stand back! Piercing roar!
Holy...
This could be useful.
Illuminate the dark!
Right here!
Come
I
forth,
got you!
holy glimmer! Sleep now!
Rising one!
Going in!
Divine
Deny!
Savior! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy land! Illuminate the dark! Come in here! They're all coming after
Got
me!
fire! I'm coming, Redwell.
I'm not scared. I'm totally fine. Divine! Illuminate the dark!
Looking fearsome, Rinwell.
You must be rubbing off on me.
Let's kick some ass, kid.
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
You picked the wrong fight!
Holy land!
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep. I barely worked up a sweat.
It sure got cold all of a sudden after we passed the peak.
La,
Yeah, we're getting close.
That's far enough! Illuminate the dark!
Take this!
Radiant field!
Look sharp!
Annihilation!
Never see what I can do! By the power of water!
Holy land!
Take this!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly!
This is bad, right?
Yes, Alvin! Very bad!
I don't
Holy
feel
land!
so good.
I have no limits!
Pierce evil! Holy land! Here goes! Freeze Lancer!
Don't get careless.
Gotta break through!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy glimmer! Wait now!
Rising
Go
sun!
in! Here! They're surrounding us! Not on my watch!
Here I come!
Go! Look sharp! One more! Holy Lancer! Mega
This
Ray!
one's mine!
Blind freak! Why can't they just sit still?
Finish him! Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done! This one's mine! Holy Land! Go in! Flame of
Anything in armor is all mine!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improved.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered. Whew. Thank goodness we won.
Go no further! Let the marksman handle this! Sealed! Divine This one's mine! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy land!
Far enough!
Illuminate the dark! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
With your flames and my technique,
An opponent like this should be easy. Come one, come all!
Here!
Soaring light spear!
Mega Ray!
Let the marksman
Ignite!
Illuminate the dark! Come
Anything in armor is all mine!
here! This time!
I think we can get through this.
Don't let up until it's over!
Who said anything about letting off?
Holy land! I'm on!
Do it! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Sometimes I wonder where you come up with those moves.
I could say the same to you.
Good thing we're on the same side, huh?
My word. This must be the work of Providence.
Prava what now?
It means destiny. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, though.
We made it to Cislodia.
we need to get that bridge down somehow.
It looks like we can control it from our side. Let's take a closer look.
Are you okay, Law?
Oh, fine. Just thinking. The past is a real downer. That's why I'm focused on what's ahead of me. You?
Yeah. I'm going to stay the path. As long as we're all together, I know we'll be all right.
Same here. Now let's get moving.
Oh, good. We can cross through here.
Stop! Who goes there?
My name is Alphen. We're not your enemies.
Did you say Alphen? Slap me silly, it really is you!
Forgetting someone?
Rinwell! Oh, glad to see you're doing okay.
What are you guys doing out here?
We're patrolling the realm. Never thought I'd bump into you all on my rounds, though. Heck, enough of me, though. What's going on up in the sky? Feels like the world's gonna end.
That's what we're trying to figure out ourselves. And as it happens, got a big favor to ask.
I had an inkling that's why you'd come back, as soon as I saw you in the distance. So you beat all the lords, huh? Damn, you really must be a hero.
I just did what I had to. So can you send anybody to help Ganatheros?
I think we can help out. I'll hit up the other resistance groups and rustle up some support. I doubt they'll have a problem sending people once I mention it's you who's asking.
Thanks. If you guys can help out, that'll give us a chance to do something about that wedge out in the ocean.
Yeah, I think that's something only you guys can handle. Speaking of which, that thing's out in the middle of the ocean. How do you even plan on reaching it?
By boat. We're about to go look for one.
No rest for the weary, I see. Hey, what happened to that mask you used to wear?
It's a long story. Let's just say I lost it.
I sure never expected to run into Bregan.
Cyslodia's probably in good hands with him.
Yeah. Now we can focus on finding a ship.
A boat, huh? Where are we gonna find one of those? It's not the kind of thing people just leave lying around.
Especially not Renans. For an Imperial power, they never have shown much interest in maritime expansion. Still, I dare say there should be the odd small vessel here and there.
All well and good, but that structure's slap bang in the middle of the ocean. A fishing boat won't cut it.
Let's just try to find one that won't sink us halfway out, yeah? Not that it needs to be a huge galley like Almadria's or anything.
Just as well, since we've passed, let's see, literally 0 huge galleys.
All I know is we have to reach that thing in the ocean. Anything that might work, I say we try it. Thanks to Bregan, it seems like Ganatheros should be in good hands, at least.
I wonder who they'll send to look after things. It'll be someone from one of the other resistance organizations, no doubt.
They could do a whole lot worse than someone like Doc. And knowledge of medicine would go a long way there.
Wait, do you mean the old guy back in Calaglia? Ganatheros would be one hell of a trek from there. He'd have to get here first.
My brother's old second-in-command, Legiel, would be a perfect fit, too. Pity she'll probably still have her hands tied up with work in Menancia.
Mahag Sar will be the same story. They won't have the manpower as it is, let alone enough to start exporting it.
Man, everyone's still struggling to get back on their feet, huh?
Knowing Bregan, he'll probably take things into his own hands. He seems like the kind of guy who enjoys a challenge.
Thinking back on it now, though, it does kind of make you realize just how many people we've gotten to know in each of the places we visited.
That's true. And each and every connection we forged is priceless. Anyway, we can trust Bregan to take care of things from here. Come on, let's focus on the task at hand.